I'm Mike Brewer, and this is the Road to Fulfillment podcast. Every month, you'll hear real stories from real leaders sharing their journey to success and what they found on the road to fulfillment. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Road to Fulfillment podcast. I'm Mike Brewer, and today we are talking about the third pillar of fulfillment, which is wellness. If you missed the last episode, go check it out. It's about being on mission and the importance of knowing your mission and being on it. It's not a list or directions on how to figure out what your mission is, but I do talk about some concrete things that can be done to help you figure out what your mission is, or at least get you started in that right direction if you don't know your mission yet. And then next week, if I could just put a little plug, I have an interview coming out with my coach, Daryl Perry of Your Level Fitness. Go check him out. I can't wait for you to see what's coming next week. But before we get there, let's talk about the third pillar of fulfillment, which is wellness. Now, wellness is a big word as far as its definition encompasses a lot of things. So let's get started with probably the first thing I think about when I think about wellness, and that's physical health. Now, if you know me, you know I'm a big guy, all right? But you may also know that I've made a lot of strides in my physical health over the years, including losing over 140 pounds in a year, including starting a wellness routine where I get up and I work out at 4:30 in the morning. All things I've done for the sake of my own physical health. So while I am no expert, I want to tell you this. I have accomplished a lot. I have been well coached. And I have been through a lot of counseling, which could say a whole lot of things about me. But in the area of physical health, let me preface what I'm going to say with this. For the person who says, I don't know what to do, I don't know how to get started, I need to hire someone to teach me how to work out, I need to hire someone to teach me how to eat, I'm talking directly to you at this moment, okay? And let me just say this. No, you don't. You do not need to hire someone or pay for anything in order for you to get started down your wellness journey. You may want to eventually. You may get there. But to get started, you do not need to hire anyone. If you're trying to lose weight, if you're trying to put on muscle, if you're trying to just get a bit healthier, there are certain small things you can do to get started that you do not need to hire anyone for. Okay? Number one, if you're trying to lose fat, if you're trying to get healthier, I'm going to give you 3 concrete things you can do that you don't need to hire anyone for, get a coach for, take a course for, anything. Okay? Number one, evaluate your calorie intake. No, I'm not going to tell you that it's all about calories in, calories out. But I can tell you that if you're eating way more calories than you should be, you're not going to lose weight. It just doesn't work that way, okay? Go to Google, type in calorie counter, enter the information on it, and it will tell you how many calories you should be eating per day if you're trying to be in a calorie deficit, you're trying to lose weight. It'll give you all that information. Then start tracking what you eat. It's that simple. Start tracking what you eat, and then start making the changes you need to get yourself into a calorie deficit. Okay? That's number one. Number two, let's talk about sugar for a second. Okay? Sugar is devastating to our bodies. Sugar is not healthy. Eating some fruit, fine. But eating sugary foods, eating candies, eating drinks, or drinking drinks with a lot of sugar in them, unhealthy, nasty, not good for your body. Very good if you're trying to get diseasey, okay? Very good if you're trying to get unhealthy. Cut the sugar. The easiest way to get started on that is to stop drinking calories. Yes, there's a lot of things that are bad in drinks besides calories, but stop drinking calories and you'll eliminate a lot of junk you're bringing into your system. Third thing, for physical health. Third and final, very simple thing. Start increasing your physical activity. If that means starting with adding a 10-minute walk to your day 3 times a week, that's still a big step. If you're walking 10 minutes at least for 3 times a day each week, or three days a week each week, make it 20 minutes. Increase the physical activity. Maybe add going to the gym. Maybe add lifting heavy weights. Maybe add something that increases your physical activity. It's that simple. If you want to get started to better your physical health, you do not need to buy anything. You do not need to hire anyone. You do not need to take a course. You simply need to do 3 things. Number 1, check your calorie intake. Get on Google, go to a calorie counter, enter the information, start tracking your food, start making sure you have a bit of a calorie decrease. Number 2, get off the sugar, stop drinking your calories. Don't eat as much candy, chips, garbage. Decrease the sugar intake in your body. And third, increase your physical activity. Take a walk. Go to the gym. Try to create something that's at least twice a week, then 3 times a week, as far as your physical activity goes, to increase it. That's it. That's as simple as it possibly can be. Make a habit out of those 3 things. Then you may hit a wall and you may say, I'm not sure what I need to do going forward. That's when you could say, hey, I need to hire a coach. Hey, I need a health coach. Hey, I need someone who is certified in fitness to help me to the next level. And we're going to have someone on next week that is that person. But it's that simple. Physical health is that simple. Now, you'll notice one thing. When you do those things, when you start to make progress in your physical health, you will start to get wins. And when you start to get wins, you start to get a mindset that starts to believe that you're capable of making things happen in your life. And when that starts, you become unstoppable. You become limitless. You become unleashed. You don't believe me? Try it. Now, I want to talk about another area of wellness. And this is one that often gets overlooked, especially in men. And that's mental health. Sometimes just saying the words makes us feel like we're less than we should be. Okay? But I want to encourage you, if mental health is an issue for you, and I'm not talking about if you think you're crazy. I'm talking about if you think you may need to get help or need to talk to someone. It's okay. All right? I know the buzz line is it's okay to not be okay. But just know it's okay. It's not okay to stay that way, but it's okay if that's where you are. A lot of people have dedicated their life's work to help people when they're not okay. I'll be completely honest with you. 2 years ago, my mom passed away. A few years before that, my dad passed away. 2022, between friends and family, I lost 7 people. I was not okay. I had to get help. I hired a coach and I went to a therapist. I needed help and I went and got it. I wasn't okay and that was fine, but I also understood that I couldn't stay not okay. And one of the things I decided to do, besides coaching, besides going to see a therapist, was to start working out regularly and more often, which led to the routine I'm in right now, where I get up at 4:30 most days of the week and start working out. It was that important. Let's talk about something else on the wellness side, on the mental health side, or just on a wholeness side, and that's reflection and learning. If you want your mind to be sharp, if you want to have a good grasp on what you're feeling, what you're experiencing, and be able to move forward in all those things, you have to take time for reflection. You can call it meditation, you can call it reflection, you can call it thinking about and sitting in your thoughts and figuring out how to sort everything out, figuring out how to leave the things behind that need to be left behind, and how to focus on the things that you need to focus on going forward, but you need to take the time. One way that high performers do this is they get up in the morning and the first thing they do is work out, and then they spend at least 20 minutes in a time of reflection. How I handle these moments is I make a transition from working out into a time of reflection. Usually that involves some dedicated breathing time. Slow breath in through the nose, even slower exhale through the mouth, to regulate my body, to settle myself down. And then I let myself get into my thoughts. And I ask myself, what about the previous day do I need to process that I haven't processed yet? What emotions about the previous day do I need to process? What situations happened that I haven't given the time they need to be given? What things happened that might have irritated me that I need to leave behind? What kind of things do I need to pray about in this moment? What do I need help with? What do I need to figure out how to move forward in? What are these items? And I give myself plenty of time to sort through those. I don't get through everything, but I give myself plenty of time to sort through the big picture stuff and to figure out how to get rid of the small picture stuff that I don't need to have in my head anymore. Take that time every morning. Then give yourself time for learning. This could be very simple. This could be reading. This could be listening to a podcast and making sure you're comprehending what you're hearing. It could be taking a course. But give yourself a good 20 minutes in that morning routine to learn. It's good for your mind. It is good for your brain, and it is good for your wellness. Now I want to talk about one last thing, and that last thing is rest. Wellness can hinge on rest, whether it's allowing yourself enough rest to where you can work out, allowing yourself enough rest to where you can get up and reflect, allowing yourself enough rest to where you can get up and learn, or allowing yourself enough rest to where you can go and do the best work you can possibly do. Okay? The problem is the cycle we generally get into is we go and we go and we go and we go until we can't go anymore. We get some rest and then we repeat. Then we go and then we go and then we go until we have to get some rest and then we repeat. That's not how we're wired. That's not how we're built to go. Some people think that's how they're built to go. Some people even think that they're better because of that, but the truth is they're not. Going into your day without enough rest is no different than going into your day in the morning by drinking a few shots of whiskey before you go into work. It's going to affect you the same. It's going to have that much negative effect on your performance. We can go all the way back thousands of years and look at ancient literature, and they are talking about rest. The very creation story in Genesis chapter 1, we learn about rest. An ancient civilization starts their day in the evening. Okay, go back and read Genesis chapter 1. Whether you believe in that Bible or not, go back and read Genesis chapter 1, and you'll see that their day started in the evening, which meant that they entered into their work coming from a rested state. That's how they structured their day. This ancient civilization structured their day in a way where they rested first. We tend to think we need to do it the opposite way, but we don't. In that same creation story, we see God resting after creating everything on the seventh day. He rests after getting all this work done, which is an example of not just starting your day with rest, but ending your week with rest so that you start a new week rested. It's that important. Taking care of your body, taking care of your mind, taking care of your soul, making sure that you're rested. There's some basic tenets of wellness. If we want to find fulfillment in our life, we have to be willing to take care of ourselves. This may sound like the most selfish pillar of fulfillment, and maybe it is, but if we do not take care of ourselves, we will not be able to take care of other people, and we will not find fulfillment. That's it. I hope you've enjoyed this episode. If you have and you found this content helpful, please do me a favor. Just go ahead and click follow or subscribe, whichever platform you're on, and let me know what you thought of today's episode. I really appreciate you listening.